Imagine John Adams was never born. No relentless voice in Congress pushing the colonies from, "We're angry," to "We're independent." No stubborn organizer willing to be unpopular if that's what it took to keep the revolution moving. And later, no leader who proved, when it mattered most, that a brand new republic could survive a bitter election without breaking its own rules. Here's the truth. America might still be born without Adams, but it becomes far more likely to be slower to commit, weaker in wartime structure, and more fragile in its first political decade. Rewind to the early 1770s. Tension is boiling. People are furious, but anger isn't a plan and the colonies aren't automatically united. Everyone is doing the same math. If we go too far, Britain doesn't send letters. Britain sends armies. Inside the decision-making rooms, hesitation has 1,000 disguises. Not yet. Not here. Not together. Adams mattered because he attacked hesitation. While others spoke to crowds, he pushed for the point of no return in the rooms where delay can kill a movement. And even before the war was over, he kept insisting the revolution had to look legitimate. Because if you throw out fairness the moment you're angry, you don't build a republic. You build chaos. So ask yourself, without Adams, does the push for independence hit hard enough at the right moment, or does it wobble long enough for fear to spread and unity to rot? Now jump into the war. Bravery is everywhere, but bravery doesn't build supply lines. It doesn't protect trade. It doesn't pay for cannons. Wars are systems, money, logistics, communication, and one system mattered more than people admit: the sea. Britain's power wasn't just on land. It was the ocean. If blockades tighten and commerce dies, the revolution starts starving quietly. Flour gets expensive, gunpowder gets scarce, people stop believing. And once belief collapses, armies collapse right after it. Adams kept pushing the idea that independence needed structure, not just speeches. Early sea power wasn't glamorous, but it was survival. And revolutions also run on credit. Somebody has to lend you money, sell you supplies, and believe you'll still exist next year. Adams also played a major role in Europe, helping turn rebellion into country in the eyes of governments and bankers. Because once foreign money and foreign ships start moving, the world treats you less like a protest and more like a state. So here's the next question. What if America keeps fighting, but can't keep functioning long enough to finish the job? Now the war ends. Independence is real. This is where countries often break. After the enemy fades, internal rivalry grows. Every faction says, "We earned this." Every side suspects the other. Politics stops being competition and turns into war by other means. Adams was obsessed with one unsexy idea: rules, laws, procedures, the boring stuff that keeps freedom from turning into a permanent street fight. That obsession becomes priceless when the Republic faces its first real test: losing. Because the moment one side believes the other side is illegitimate, every election becomes a survival battle, and the country starts living on the edge. Then comes the moment that proves whether a republic is real: the peaceful transfer of power. Not when everyone's happy, when everyone's furious. In real history, Adams loses a bitter election and leaves. No troops, no refusal. Power changes hands and the country survives the shock. Now imagine that moment without him. What if the first big handoff goes badly? What if America learns early that losing power means you fight the system instead of accepting it? That single precedent changes everything. More suspicion, harder polarization, elections treated like life-or-death battles, and a country that lives in crisis mode. A republic isn't proven by its slogans. It's proven by its habits, how it argues, how it loses, and whether it can step back from the edge when the crowd wants a fight. Without that habit, the Constitution is paper and the country is just pressure. So here's the clean summary of an Adams-less timeline. Independence can still happen, but the decision may come later and with less unity. The wartime backbone, trade, supplies, credit, and naval pressure, can be weaker. And after victory, the political culture is more likely to harden into winner-take-all conflict right when the republic is most fragile. America might still exist, but it becomes more tense, more brittle, and more at risk of breaking early, before it ever grows into the America we recognize. So who should we erase next? Because in this timeline game, the real question isn't always, does America survive? Sometimes it's, what kind of America survives? Choose carefully.